In this segment of Hype's She Is Me college interview series, Charisma talks with us about the connections between her studies in STEM and civic engagement.
I am Carissma McGee. I am a sophomore physics major, computer science and mathematics double minor at Howard University. I am from and currently quarantined in safely in Bear, Delaware. That's my home state. And I'm a member of Howard University's third cohort of the STEM Scholars Program. What brought me to the university in the DC area was the NASA Center there. So prior to coming to college, I had worked at NASA Greenbelt Center. And through there, I was able to know that I wanted to kind of go to school in DC. And now I'm continuing my virtual learning with Howard University in DC, just getting acclimated to the virtual setting in this time.
Yeah.
I'd like to just chill and just hang out here and just make sure that everyone's safe, and also do a lot of civically engaged service community events. So I work with my congresswoman. I really try to get people engaged, and right now I've been trying to get people out there and voting and having their voices heard. And
Yeah.
that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, it's so important, especially in this election year, to really like get out the vote. I guess, do you see any connections between what you're studying in school? You're in DC, kind of like political center of the United States. Can you talk a little bit more about your interest in civic engagement? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And I could even touch on the intersection between working with like in policy and then working in STEM and that relationship. It's just been everything is related and everything's coordinated, and there's power in that. I think that with I got to serve my local postal workers and in my community and really make sure like I to know them by name and understand their issues like in regards to their labor and work. I've got to touch on different green aspects as they relate to our community and with my congresswoman and connect with the Congressional Black Caucus for this state, as well as the Congressional Caucus for DC, and really make those connections that way. I love my congresswoman personally, and I'm just really excited to have building those relationships. And I think that Howard University has really instilled a sense of service and just being a college student in this time, really not only making casting my ballot and making a vote for me, but also bringing other people to the polls. Like for example, I had a few people who were they were like older, and there were people with disabilities and things like that who couldn't necessarily make it out to the polls, or they wanted to learn more about their mail-in ballots. So my school partnered with an initiative at HU Day of Service to really go out and help people with have different access and even find different aspect access to nonprofits and things that are doing virtual service right now. And I think that's the pillar on which my university stands, and it's just permeates through my life in policy, permeates through my life in STEM. What I do with STEM and policy, I get to work with different NASA centers as they I get to be on the side of NASA in the STEM realm, but I also get to be on the side of NASA in the policy and funding of different projects. So it's just very exciting to be on both those spectrums.
Yeah, that's awesome. Was it with your work in NASA when you started to see more of the connections between public policy and STEM, or did it start before that? When did you start to see kind of the connections and how you could use both?
I think I started to see it when I was in briefings with as a congressional intern, when I was at different briefings, and I noticed that the same names and the same faces, the same topics are being brought up in different briefings and discussions, and I was just doing different work. And so it was cool to see this whole spectrum of how mission is brought together and brought to life.